I'm Dick Yeager, and we're talking with Abbey Kuzma today from the Indiana State Attorney General's office. And we've learned an awful lot about, well, people, especially people my age and our age, as senior citizens, are sometimes taken advantage of by unscrupulous people who are looking to make a quick buck. Abbey, thanks for coming, and let's talk a little bit about mortgage consultants.
Exactly. This is an area that unfortunately has cropped up with the foreclosure crisis. And one of the things you'll notice about scammers is they come in and take advantage of folks when they're down. So what's going on here is we've got a crisis in Indiana and of course the rest of the nation with respect to mortgages. Yeah. And so folks are coming in and they'll say, I'll save your house if only you pay me X amount of money. Sometimes it's $950, sometimes it's $3,000. And folks will send them the money and then their house goes into foreclosure and that's the end of it. And what we're finding is that most of these groups are from out of state and they are not following Indiana law on many levels. We have a lot of very strict laws respecting this kind of activity because it's dangerous. People are vulnerable in this situation and these folks are not following Indiana law. For example, you're not allowed to ask for money up front if in a consultant capacity like this, if you're for-profit, you can't ask for money up front unless you have a $25,000 surety bond registered with the state. Well, none of these folks do that. Oh, no. There's also contract requirements that have a number of different terms. One of them is explaining to people that there is a nonprofit alternative, a free alternative for this kind of consulting. And again, they don't have the contract terms. So what we're doing is being very aggressive against these folks because they're taking people's money when they need it the most and running off with it. And so we're very aggressive with that. We've sued a number of companies along this line.
Am I right in assuming that public records are what fuel these things?
Exactly. Foreclosure is a public document. So they can find out, you know, that foreclosure has been filed against you, and they call you just at that time, and you're like, oh my gosh, you know, I'm being rescued, and in reality, this is a scam. So we, again, be very careful, and remember that there is a nonprofit alternative. If you are facing, potentially facing foreclosure, or you're worried about getting behind on your mortgage, call the Indiana Foreclosure Protection Network, which is IFPN, and it's their number is 1-877-GET-HOPE. 1-877-GET-HOPE. So that's the free alternative.
Okay, and then and that's available to anybody who may find themselves in this situation.
Absolutely, we encourage everyone to call and get advice from these groups. They have housing counselors all over the state.
Then that kind of leads us then into another area of as far as mortgage is concerned, and that is the reverse mortgage scam. Now, I think, tell us, I'm sure there are some legitimate.
Yeah, that's what makes it the most confusing. In fact, HUD was encouraging reverse mortgages for a period of time, and so I think that's kind of given some legitimacy to the concept. The idea is that you're basically using your house to get money out of your house. You're still staying there, but you're kind of you're getting, in a sense, a mortgage that's going to devalue the equity that you have in your home over a period of time. Now, for some people that works out well, but it's a very difficult situation. Has to be very carefully done. So again, if you call 1-877-GET-HOPE, you can be assigned to a housing counselor that's going to be able to advise you about whether or not that's a good situation for you. It isn't for everyone, and if it's done badly, the person can, like, let's say for example, the individual that has the reverse mortgage is one person in the couple. It might turn out that that person dies before the spouse, and then the spouse loses the home. There are a lot of things that can happen. Also, just on a straight scam level, you have people who are claiming that you're going to get a reverse mortgage. They'll take your money, and then you sign over your house. Maybe they've asked you to quit claim deed the house to them, and you don't have anything, and you wind up with nothing. So there are a lot of mortgage scams out there. We have to be very careful. So again, if you're getting the offer over the telephone, over the internet, and they're coming to you and saying, call us and get this wonderful service, which really isn't wonderful because it's a scam, check it out first. You know, say, well, you know what, I don't think I'm interested. Send me something in writing. And then that gives you time to check out whether this is a good idea. You can go to your own bank, Find out whether or not they offer anything along the lines of if you think this is a service that you want, find out the details. Talk to a housing counselor from the Indiana Foreclosure Prevention Network or just the HUD housing counseling agencies all over the state.
Well, now, if in the event that you should say, I might be interested, can you send me something in writing? Does this obligate you then to, if they send you something in writing, does this obligate you to go through with such a thing?
No, not at all. I mean, you're only obligated when you sign a contract. So that would be a good way to find out whether or not they're legitimate, is to get something in writing. But even then, check it out. Because sometimes scammers send things in the mail, and that's how they scam people. So unfortunately, we just have to be so cautious nowadays.
Yeah.
You know, you can get it online, figure out whether this is a legitimate organization. You can call your bank and find out if anybody's heard of this group. Call Better Business Bureau. You know, check it out. Do some research and find out whether this group is legitimate.
Well, the reason I'm asking about that is that we have received from time to time, just in general mailing or direct mailing, something like that which looks awfully legitimate. You know, it's everything from a seal at the bottom of the thing, you know, and this is from some important, I don't think we've ever got anything from the Attorney General's office, but we get from time to time a mailing of some sort that really looks like, boy, this is the real thing. But I guess
you have to check it out.
Take the time to make the call.
Absolutely. Scammers have gotten very smart. And I have gotten emails that seem to be from my bank, and they even have mimicked the logo really well.
Yeah, that's
and,
what I mean.
And again, you know, one of the things to think about is if somebody claiming to be a bank or your mortgage company calls you up and they're starting to ask for your personal information, whoa, be really wary, because they won't be asking you for your personal information. They know your personal information. If you call them, they will ask you for your secret passwords, you know, and information to verify that you're you.
Yeah.
But that's different. If they're calling you, and they won't be calling you to sell you something like this,
No.
but if groups that are calling you and telling you, oh, well, you know, there's something wrong with your bank account, we just need to verify your personal information and your account number, you know, alert, 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 you know, say, no, sorry, I don't give that out over the phone. I will call you to find out what the problem is. And then you can call your own bank, and you will find out that that wasn't them.
That it's not
Exactly.
the case at all.
So be very, very wary.
I think the best advice that you could give to seniors on all of these things is check it out.
Check it out. Be
Check it
wary.
out.
Don't give your information over the phone.
Ever.
Ever.
Ever. Once in a while, you know, they will, if you order something from the internet, for example, they will ask for information. And I have found that on something that doesn't look quite right but looks good, like that is to contact Snopes Incorporated. You know Snopes, and that is a website, and they can give them the information that you have received, and they will say, no, not so. Avoid this.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with Snopes, but checking out information is very, very important.
Okay, now let's get to the one that's causing everybody the hassle and the hackles to rise on the back of the neck and to wave tea bags and things like this, and that is healthcare and healthcare scams. This is nerve-wracking.
Well, as I said earlier, the scammers come out in droves whenever there is a national crisis going on.
Yes,
So, you know, you have scammers, when Haiti had the earthquake, you had scammers coming out in droves. Now we've got the healthcare crisis going on. So you can bet your booties we're going to get all kinds of scams coming out about healthcare and healthcare insurance. Now, what we're seeing already before the healthcare crisis was right in the news, before that, we were already seeing scams where folks call people up and they look like they're selling you insurance, but they're really just selling you a health discount card. So people are buying something that's almost worthless, and they're paying a lot of money for it, and it's not what they thought they were buying.
Now, you used a term there that I'm not familiar with, home discount card.
Health discount cards.
Oh, okay. I misunderstood you.
Yeah.
Health
And
discount, well, that's just as bad.
Yeah, so basically in that situation, they're confusing you about what it is you're buying, and you're not buying what you think you're buying.
Yeah.
Now, with the health insurance scams that we're expecting to come out, they could come out in any variety of forms. Probably people are going to be saying, you have to buy insurance now, so buy with us, and X, Y, and Z. Now, again, just like everything else, you want to check out something that important, find out on your own, do some research. What are the health insurance companies that I'm comfortable with, that are legitimate, you know, where I know the agent? You know, call around, check it out, and find somebody that you know is legitimate, a company that you're comfortable with, and purchase health insurance that way.
Health insurance, I think, is one of the scariest things and one of the most necessary things. And here's one of the questions that I would put to you, Abbey. We have to admit that there are, among us seniors, and whether they are impaired, mentally impaired, whether they are mentally insufficient, I guess is the best way I can say. How do they know whether, how to make a checkup to see if a scam? I'm saying that badly, but
I know what you're saying, and I think there are a couple things we can do. One of them is that just don't order anything over the telephone. So somebody calls you, especially if you're on Do Not Call, telemarketers are not supposed to be contacting you anyway. So this person's breaking Indiana law by calling you. So you should be suspicious. Just don't order anything over the telephone like this. It's important. You know, health insurance is important. The other thing is most seniors already have health insurance.
Yeah.
So, you know, somebody's telling you you have to buy health insurance because this new law passed. You don't have to buy health insurance. You already have health insurance. So, you know, beware that way. Another thing that we would recommend, and you can go through our website to activate this service, is a credit freeze. This is something that can protect, like let's say, for example, you have a mother or a sister or a spouse who's mentally impaired, and they shouldn't be signing up for anything because they're not really in a position to know whether it's a good thing. But let's say they're home alone some period of time during the day, or they have access to the telephone. One of the things you can do to protect them is to sign up for a credit freeze, and then they can't purchase things like this. They can't take out credit cards. They can't put an extra mortgage on their home. They can't be taken advantage of in many respects. So it's a protection that would be really helpful. Or let's say you're going to Florida for a few months every winter and you're out of your house. You know, again, it protects you in case somebody's trying to. There was a scam a while ago where, while people were gone out of their home for a while, folks were fraudulently mortgaging the home. And so, you know, this protects you.
this is a credit freeze.
A credit freeze, and you can access it through our website at indianaconsumer.com.
indianaconsumer.com.
It's free, and that's a special service because in some states you have to pay for it.
Yeah, this one in Indiana is free, so see, folks, your Indiana state government is trying to help us like that. I can't thank you enough, Abby.
You're so
welcome.
This
has been great, and I know that we opened a lot of people's eyes to what could happen, but also perhaps given them a panacea of some sort to say, that won't happen if you do this. Mm-hmm. This has been Going Like 60. I'm Dick Yeager. Been talking with Abbey Kuzma from the Indiana State Attorney General's office, and we hope to see you in the future, but watch us today.